Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
Good evening, all. How the devil are we? Well, when I say good, 25 days the transfer window has been open. 25 days. Now, yeah, all right, you know, we're not the only club that hasn't done anything in this transfer window yet, but there's not many of them. I mean, this rebuild, this refocus, this rehash, whatever you want to call it, is it going to happen? What is happening? And, you know, and it does look like this to me more and more, if we have got to sell, if we've got to sell to be able to bring anybody in, then Yuri Tillemans, make your mind up. Because at the moment, you're beginning to piss everybody off. You really are. And as much as we love you for everything we've done, we'll end up really, not hating you as such, but, you know, decide what you're going to do. This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Thank you very much for tuning in. As you can know, all down that side there, you can see all our socials. We are on Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Please give us a subscribe on that if you haven't yet already done so. Smash the likes and click the notifications. We've got a lot of shows coming up over the summer. In fact, the Euros starts this week. We're covering the ladies' Euros. Please, I ask one other thing of you. Please support the clubs that support us.
Leicester lead again. The goals are flowing here now.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open. For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise, visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
Indeed. When I say clubs, I meant companies, of course. You can get 5% discount if you have become a member of Leicester Till I Die TV, and you can get that discount on all our merchandise, and that's at all the W's, leicestertillidie.com/shop. Intro and outro videos like the ones you've just seen are available for just $6, which is about $4.95. Personalized, you get them done within about 15 minutes maximum, and that's at introchamp.com. And 10% discount on all your gaming accessories at Faithful Grips, whether that's be controllers, leads, whatever, buttons. If you're a gamer and you want to even have them personalized, you can get 10% discount, and there's a code in the description below on YouTube to quote for that discount. And if you fancy retro football shirts or sportswear, 3retro.com is the place to go. They have a biggest choice, and they have Leicester tops and England tops as well. All right, let's just see what we've been saying. Andrew, I've heard Yuri has accepted personal terms. I have read that as well. James, good evening. How are you? I've been better, if I'm going to be honest with you. I asked Doris for 5% discount, but she told me not to believe anything Chris says. Who's Doris? You say, are you accusing me? Are you accusing me? Should we call it doing a Brendan now? When we say things that we don't really mean. Spencer says, evening, Chris. Surely the club have a cut-off date to say to Yuri, what the hell are you doing? Look, let's deal with Yuri first of all, because to be honest with you, he is, and I've said this the last couple of days, he is really, really, really pissing me off at the moment. Now, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up. But it looks like the more and more that it goes on, it looks like we are going to have to sell to buy. May not be the case. We may just be very, very slow, which is probably more scary, to be honest with you. But yeah, and if we are waiting on Yuri, like I said, I love the guy. I love the guy for what he's done, especially the FA Cup final. But I am really getting pissed off with it. Really am. I read that it, but to be honest with you, Spencer, it's Arsenal that you're supposed to have agreed personal terms with. Apparently, he'd done that ages ago. He'd actually, if you believe the papers, he's been in contact with Arsenal. Personal terms have been agreed even before Arsenal have put an offer on the table to Leicester. And I mean, that's the thing. At the end of the day, Arsenal have not come and put anything on the table. And at the end of the day, I could fancy working for BT Sport, and I could be talking to them until I get an offer. So Yuri, pull your finger out, mate. Pull your finger out. Accepted personal terms is nothing until you actually come off your backside and decide what you are doing. Because all you're doing at the moment is you are really winding every Leicester City player up. And if you can't decide that, if you don't want to be with us, that's fine. You've been here, you've no ties to the club, fuck off, and let us move on with players that want to stay here and want to come to the club. Don't you leave it until the last week of September. I tell you what, we lost. Was it 30 million on Slimani? We let him go, I think, on a free, and we paid 30 million for him. Now, we can't afford to do that on a regular basis. But you know what? If he leaves it on much longer, you know what I'd be tempted to do? Is say, okay, because he's not on the highest wage. He's not on the highest wage at all. Vardy's on the highest wage at the club. Do you know what I would be tempted to do? I'd be tempted to say, right, okay, you've left it so long now. We're not going to get a replacement. We can't get anybody else in. You're staying. And then if we sell you in January or next summer for nothing, so be it. But and you're not going to be a first starter. We're going to play Kieran Dewsbury Hall first over you. So people aren't going to be able to see you. They're not going to be able to be impressed by you. We've got to have the balls as a club to stand up to the players. Players come, players go. I grew up loving Keith Weller and everything he did for the club. And he was probably the Leicester City in the 70s version of Yuri Tillemans. And Frank Worthington's another. But they come, they go. No player is bigger than the club. And, Yuri, if you think you are, sort it out. Do as I say, either say you want to go and sign for fucking Arsenal or whoever it is, Spurs, Newcastle, etc., and just go. Let us get on with the players that want to play for us and are going to take us forward. Because at the moment, you are just holding us back. Andrew says here, Yuri needs to realise that he is not the player he thinks he is, or clubs will be coming in for him. In fairness, Andrew, this time last year, I think they would have been coming in for him because he'd just scored, we just won the FA Cup. He'd scored that goal. We'd had, just got into Europe, etc. So we'd had a couple of good seasons. Last season, we didn't. Not just Yuri. Yuri was, in fairness to Yuri, he was being asked to play more defensive role, which isn't his game. But the whole team did not have a good season, did they at all? And if you had been a scout and say watching Leicester play Nottingham Forest, you'd have said, "I'll have those two Forest players, but I don't want any City ones." So yeah, I think that is why the clubs aren't coming in for him. And I think he said, "I want Champions League." Well, you're going to have to prove you're good enough, Yuri. You're going to have to prove you are good enough. So let's have a look at some of the news that we can. Let me just share this. I'm going to share a couple of things with you, but I've got to go in and out, and then afterwards we've got to shake it all about as well. Here we go. He says, so this is the clubs that have made fewest signings this transfer window. Now, if you have a look, I'm just going to get this up on a bigger screen for me. Well, Manchester United looks like they've signed one now, and we'll come on to that later because it looks like they have actually got Eriksen in. Chelsea, have they not signed them? Apparently, according to this, they've not signed anybody either. So it's Leicester and Chelsea. And this was done at 10-5. So, but Man United, it's not confirmed yet, obviously, with Eriksen, but it is going. Wolves won. Everton. I mean, look at the bad season Everton had, and they've got a player that's wanted to go to them. And Fulham, for fuck's sake, Fulham. They're a promoted team, for God's sake. They're up and down like a horse knickers on a double time, but they've managed to get somebody in. We haven't got this Martin Glover. He's not coming. And, well, if he comes before the end of the transfer window, great. So let's not hold on for him. And let's sort Yuri out and say, like I said before, fuck off or sign a new contract, one or the other. Oh, yeah, you'd have, in fairness, well, that's Sky, Mike. Good evening, Mike. How the devil are you, sir? They have, in fact, signed Malacia. And Eriksen technically just waiting. Yeah, he's just waiting for the official announcement. It's a couple of things. Good evening. How are you? Bournemouth haven't signed anyone, have they? Well, according to Sky, mind you, having said that, you know, Bournemouth were promoted. Well, they've got Fulham on there, so they should be looking after them. And Matt is just updating us there. Bournemouth have signed Rothwell, Frederick, and someone else. So I mean, where is this leaving Leicester? You know, we have got there a club. So basically, a club that's, well, Man United have signed somebody. So we are below a club. No disrespect here, Mike, but we're below a club that is in absolutely shit state, as Man United are. I'm sure Den Darg will sort it out, but they're in a shit state at the moment. They've signed somebody. Like I say, Wolves, Fulham have only just been promoted, have signed somebody. Everton, who, let's face it, and no disrespect, James, they are, well, they're in the throes. Are they going to be taken over? Aren't they going to be taken over? You know, they've just let Duncan Ferguson go. He's not stopping there any longer. So, you know, they are really, really in trouble, and they've signed more players. I mean, Mike says here, banter aside, are you getting worried about no transfer now? What do you think my tone says? yeah, I'm fucking pissed off. And I think a lot of Leicester fans are feeling the same. What is going on? John Rudkin, you know, director of football, you stand in for until this Martin Glover comes here. Andrew says here, this smoke screen by Brendan. It is a smoke screen by Brendan that he said this refresh statement to deflect the blame from his performance against Forest. Yep. You know, I mean, I've said this many, many times. I don't think it was to deflect from a poor performance. I think it was to have a go at the players. And it is a refresh, and a refresh doesn't necessarily mean buying players. It could just mean shuffling the pack around. So, you know, it was very clever use of words. I don't think he said rebuild. I think he said refresh. Duncan Ferguson wanted to go. He's been there years, hasn't he? He's been there years. To be honest with you, I think they should have given him the job. He stood in enough times. He knows what he's doing, Duncan Ferguson, but we wish him well. Is it related to the only business being tourists? and lack of financial funds from COVID. Those are two very big things, Mike. I've said this many a time on these shows. It is, but there's also this Yuri Tillman situation. Are we getting money for him? Aren't we getting money for him? He really does need to make his mind up. And of course, the latest news, and I say the fact that he's signing his agreed personal terms with Arsenal isn't new news. That was out about a week ago. But like I say, until Arsenal make an offer to us, personal terms aren't worth toilet paper, to be honest with you. But of course, he has been linked recently with Newcastle as well. I wouldn't mind him going to. I'd sooner him go to Newcastle than Arsenal, to be honest with you. Or I know this about Man United because we're never at the end of it. But tomorrow at 6 o'clock on this very show, I've got Ben Jacobs coming on. Now, if you don't know who Ben Jacobs is, follow him on Twitter. He is a freelance journalist. He works mainly for ESPN, BT Sport, Talk Sport, BN Sport, BEIN, I don't know if that's BEIN or BEI or whatever, but that one, and The Athletic. And it was him that sort of broke that Newcastle were interested. So he's a Leicester City fan as well. So he's coming on this time tomorrow at 6 o'clock. But now let's have a look at what else has been going on in the world of Leicester City. And to be totally honest with you, not an awful lot. It's more quiet than my bed in the evening. Let's have a look and see what's going on here. Right. Bring this back in and we'll take this up. So we've still, this is the Mercury. Still this day, decotillary confidence. Real Madrid and Leicester City transfers close as forgotten man set to steal move. Colwell stamps could open door for City. Leicester City transfer finances. We did though the other day, the questions. So from this week for the next fortnight or so, City will gradually start to reintroduce their international players into pre-season training. Back on Monday were Fofana, Daka and Nacho. It's set to be a big season for Fofana, with Rodgers predicting he will reach an even greater level once he's had a full pre-season. Let us fingers crossed on that one. Now this is the one I said, because obviously on the headlines before I said 2 out, 1 missed, and none in. And the 2 out, well, obviously, you know, I'm not including Tillemans because we don't know what he's doing, but Pratt looks to be on his way. And so apparently could Ayoze Perez. Please, God. Oh, if there is a God out there, please let this be true. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not having a go at him personally. I'm having a go at his ability and what he's shown for Leicester. Mike says they would love Fofana. I've got to be honest with you, Mike. There's 91 other clubs in the football pyramid that would love him as well. But he's ours. But back to Perez. He works hard. And I had this conversation yesterday. We did a show last night at 9 o'clock, the weekend extra show. And we had Thomas on, who was an Icelandic Leicester fan. And I also had Anton from Beyond the 90. And yes, he works hard, Perez. And he does do a lot of work off the ball. But we do not pay 30 million and whatever wages he's on per week for somebody to run around and not touch the ball. And that tends to be what Perez does. Yes, occasionally he comes on the pitch and he does something absolutely amazing. He's been with us now. This is his third full season coming up, I believe. He was Rodgers' first signing, and he's probably impressed me, 5 times, if that? Yeah, I could count the number of hands. Yeah, indeed, words. Welcome along. That did make me laugh yesterday as well. You know, I mean, I could count the number of games, good games that Ayoze Perez has had for Leicester on one hand, and I've got fingers missing on one hand, so that's how bad he is. Going back to Spain would be ideal for Perez. Well, yes, and that apparently is Real Betis that are interested in him. Now, Real Betis, I think, is being managed by Pellegrini, if I am not mistaken. And you know me, I am very much mistaken, obviously a long time ago. But Perez's long-term future at the King Power Stadium is under the scanner as he's in the final year of his contract at the club. The Spaniard joined the Foxes in the summer of 2019 from Newcastle United and was only a bit part player under Brendan Rodgers last season. I think he's only been a bit part player for most of the time under Brendan Rodgers. It was Brendan Rodgers that bought him. Perez was limited to just 6 Premier League starts for Leicester last season, and he could push to leave this summer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And according to Spanish outlet ABC, Perez could be handed away out of Leicester by a club from his homeland in the shape of Betis. The Spanish side sporting director Antonio Gordon is scouring the market for bargain signings, and Perez has popped up on his radar. Antonio Gordon, what's your telephone number? I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll have a collection. We'll start a Just Giving page up to pay for the taxi to get him to you. But we don't know. We will see on that one. And I'm sorry. I mean, you know, he's a player, and I don't want to sort of go too mad on the player, but he's just been goddamn awful for us. Nothing more I can add on to that one. July's here, and yet City's transfer window's not really got up and running. It's broken down on the side of the bloody road, and it doesn't need the AA. It needs life support. There've been no arrivals in. So if they want to get that healthy shake-up done before the start of competitive matches, there are going to be very busy weeks coming up. We'll have a look at what can happen later. And then this was the one that did we miss out on in Christian Eriksen? Let's be honest. I suppose, were we pinning our hopes on the fact that he was, you know, Danish, and we've got Vestergaard, and that might have been his one-use Vestergaard, getting Eriksen here, and Schmeichel. I understand him. I do understand him going to Manchester United. That, yes, as I said before, let's face it, they are in utter turmoil. But as a long-term prospect, and it's still Manchester United. And I mean, I have a lot of banter with Mike, my mod in here. He's a Man United fan when they win. When they don't, he's a Newport fan. But all banter aside, Man United are Man United. And I get him that... I mean, we apparently made him an offer. I don't know. Brentford, of course, they were the ones that came in for him. I wish he'd stayed at Brentford, to be honest with you, because they did actually, you know, give him his career back, if you like, and he wouldn't be going to Manchester United now, probably, if it hadn't been for Brentford. But I just totally do understand that. The way it was dragging on, it was clear that Man United were going to be the club Eriksen was going for. And as Mike said there, Eriksen trained at Ajax with Ten Hag before Brentford gave him his contract. So you got those two. You'd got Frank, who we knew, Thomas Frank. You got Ten Hag, who we, like I say, trained with and what have you. It was never going to be Leicester. And like I say, you know, Ten Hag aside, it is still Manchester United. It is still the name that will attract people, and wish him all the best. I wish him all the best. Let's have a look. But so we've lost him. Now then, here we go, you see. Yeah, somebody said earlier, Yuri Tillemans has agreed contract, personal terms with Arsenal. But like I said, that isn't new news. That is reasonably old news. And I think we still haven't had an offer anyway. But it says here, Yuri Tillemans' chances of joining Arsenal have been dealt a blow after the Gunners reportedly opened talks with another target. The Leicester City midfielder has been linked with Arsenal for some time. Feels like bloody ages, doesn't it? And the move to the Emirates Stadium this summer looked very much on the cards. Mikel Arteta was said to be pushing for the move with a cut price fee of around 25 million speculated about. I mean, it's all there for Arsenal to sort of make a cut down offer. But they haven't made any offer, and that's it at the end of the day. They've already signed one other midfielder, so it looks like they're in talks for another. Maybe, I'm not holding out too much hope, but maybe just Tielemans will look at this and say, look, let's just commit to Leicester for another season. Let's get it on. I mean, in fairness to him, good evening to Louise, by the way. How the devil are you, Louise? Louise is going to be my co-host when we do all the Women's Euro 2022, which starts tomorrow with a preview at 9 o'clock. Looking forward to that, Louise. Hope you are feeling better. You've not been well, so I hope you're on the mend. I don't believe he is going until he's gone. Which we say, don't we? We don't think people are coming in until we see them holding the shirt. You know, we don't think a player's going until they are going, and it's a good point. But I don't say he's not back yet. He's not back in pre-season training. I said earlier, didn't I, that all the international players have been given a little bit extra time off. So they're coming back slowly. The likes of Fafana and what have you came back today. So, if he's back later on in the week, then maybe that's when Rodgers and Rudkin need to sit him down. So let's hope by the end of this week. I mean, I'm just watching Sky now on the TV here, and the transfer window shuts in 59 days and 4 hours. So that's how long we've got to do these six deals, apparently. Let's have a look at AFCON. This was news that came out a few years, just to sidetrack from transfers. A few years ago, the Confederation of African Football announced that AFCON would move to the summer months to avoid clashing with the European League seasons. Now, for the second time since then, the tournament is being moved to January and February again. While last time was COVID-related, this time it's been decided that the rain in the host country, Ivory Coast, will be too heavy in June and July, so the tournament is moving from summer 23 to early 24. Well, it's not. It's going to impact City. It's going to impact everybody, isn't it? And we can't say that that's a surprise. We've had it for I don't know how many years now, so we'll just get on with it. James, good evening, sir. Jason. Gee, I should have gone to Specsavers. I think I'll get a job as a referee. Evening all. Tielemans gone yet? We've been speaking about Tielemans. No, he's not. He's not back in training yet, but I think once he does come back, we need to issue an ultimatum, sign up or pack off out of it. That's what we need to be doing. I'll tell you what, I don't know if anybody's seen this video. I'm just going to have a quick drink. Excuse me. Oh, God. That vodka, it's really good. Did anybody see that? It was on the Leicester City Instagram account, but I think it has gone a bit everywhere now. And it's Top who's coming to see watch the training, and that's a bit timing of Top coming back to see the training. Now this is interesting, and I'll tell you for why. I will. I'm going to tell you for why, just when I get rid of this now. Because the international players are coming back. So, like I say, Tielemans will probably be back Wednesday, I would hope, no later than Wednesday. But as with them starting to come back, it could be sometime this week. Has Top flown in to maybe have a conversation with Tielemans? Then again, men didn't land on the moon. That's another conspiracy theory. So who knows? But it could just be. But having said that, has he not got some amazing football skills? He's keeping up as he was doing. I'll tell you something. I couldn't have done that. I really couldn't. So maybe we should sign him up. Brad did say let's sign him up and put him up front. So we will see. It says here, James Madison and the Leicester fans love what Kuhntop did as he watched pre-season training. I'm just going to see now, just before we go, if we can just have a look where it said the 6 things that we need to do. Yeah, and you're quite right, Louise. You are quite right. Nothing new. Got to be calculated in when you buy an African player. Of course it does. Of course it does. And more African players are coming into the top European leagues now, quite rightly, because they literally are going to be good players. Well, they are good players, not going to be, they are good players. And of course, quite often, they're cheaper. So we're signing these players. Yes, you've got to accept that. It's like if you go and you were to go and buy a German international player, you've got to accept that he's going to be away if he's in the squad when the tournaments are on. It was the same when we bought Chris Wood, New Zealand international. You do have to take this in. Jason, all here to sign new players. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We're all saying the same. We're all saying the same. It's got to be done soon. If it does, I'm getting fed up. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm just struggling on the Leicestershire Live website as to where this. There we go. This is Niall. Good evening to you. How are you? Great show on Friday night. Hoping I saw fellow Scott Frankie Boyle. Hoping I big up Chris, mate. Hope you are good, which I am. Yes, thank you very much. Hope you are too, Niall. Great show on Friday night. Thank you very much. Hoping I saw fellow Scott Frankie Boyle and Kevin Bridges. So I'm with it. I'm with it. I can't afford them. Can't afford them. I think I get what you mean now. I think I do get what you mean. Right, let's have a look, because we did on Friday. We did. Was that the old? Oh no, that was the debate show on Friday. That was the debate show. Are you thinking about Thursday when we did the chat shit get banged show? It could be that. Yeah. So Patson, Daka, Kelechi, Nacho, and Wesley Fofana were back in the building today. Right, so here we go then. This is just to quickly run through. Yeah, indeed, Mike. Indeed. Right, so goalkeepers. Now then, last night, I had, I could say, Thomas on from an Icelandic channel, but a big Leicester City fan. And he wanted to, basically we did something different. It was the weekend extra show. If you've not seen it yet, it is obviously available under the latest show banner or latest shows banner on LTIDtv. Get over there and give it a watch. And basically what we did, we spoke for half an hour on Brendan Rodgers, as you do. We also had Anton from Ant's football channel and Beyond the 90. And we discussed, we went through all the first team squad players. And basically it was a snog, marry, or avoid type of situation. Not snogging any of them, but no, we basically keep, loan out, sell, if you like. The goalkeepers, we had a difference of opinion here because they both wanted to keep Schmeichel. He's got a year left on his contract. They both wanted to keep Schmeichel. Good evening, Scott. How are you? I presume this is Terry. News has come in about the rebuild in the men's toilets in the concourse. That wouldn't be a bad thing. I'd take that at the moment. They do need it. They do need it. Anyway, goalkeepers. I think it's time to let Schmeichel go. He didn't have a brilliant year last season. And yes, the defence in front of him was rubbish. Yes, we had the zonal marking, which nobody got on with. But he never came out for crosses. He was like Dracula. He seemed to be scared of crosses. Do you remember Spider Kalech? Do you remember him when we had him? Yeah, he was the same. He was 6'7" or something, and he wouldn't come for crosses. To be honest with you, I think Spence. I think that is just agent talk. I really do. I think he's halfway down the way to signing somewhere else. But yeah, I think Schmeichel's had his best times. He can't kick out for toffee. 90% of his kickouts go into the off the pitch altogether and into the fans. And yeah, maybe that's why we have to do the short palette out from the back. I don't know. Jason Brendan loves him, but unless he wants to leave, he's number one. Of course, I mean, obviously he's a fantastic shot stopper. He really, really is. We paid 12 million for Danny Ward, reserve goalkeeper. And let's say, Casper, like I say, he's been fantastic. While he's there, he's captain. And having a captain in goal is silly. Everybody says, yes, but he can see the whole pitch in front of him. Yes, he can. But he can't shout up to the other end of the bloody pitch if something's going on. I agree. And so basically what I can't agree, he's had a bad season, as he did the rest of the squad. He's still one of the best in the Prem, but he's slipping down. He's slipping down, Louise. I just don't think that I think he's past his prime, and we've got to look that, I know goalkeepers play longer, etc. In a year's time, he could go for nothing. So why not sell him and try and get a little bit, get him off the wage bill? Can I tell you what? He's on about 5 times the salary of Danny Ward. And I don't think he's 5 times better than Danny Ward. Again, there's lots of different ways to captain. There is. And a lot of people like goalkeepers as captain. I'm just saying I don't. I just think if you've got a captain, it's Casper can't control and can't command his 6-yard box. So how can he command the rest of the players? What does he do? If there's a penalty shout at the other end, does he run all the way up the field? Because there's only supposed to be the captain that argues with the referee. My choice, only my thought. Not saying you're wrong, Louise. It's your opinion. I just don't like him as a captain. If he was an outfield player, yeah, I'd have him every time. But yeah, Danny Ward, is he? I say Schmeichel 5 times as much money. Danny Ward, is he 5 times worse than Schmeichel? Not after last season. Like I say, his time has come and gone. We've got to let these players go. Same with Mark Albrighton. There comes a point where you've got to say, yes, we love what you did for us. Thank you very much. You won us the Premier League, but we move on. And I think we've moved on. Schmeichel is better kicking the ball upfield, as in the top third. Well, the problem is when he kicks up the ball up the field, it goes into sort of the crowd more often than not. But at least we're not giving the ball away just outside the penalty box. I do think Schmeichel, though, he says, is better moved on. Keep Casper. He saved us more times than fruit things up, but change the captain. As I say, he is a great shot stopper, but we need, I think, a different approach now to the goalkeeper. So it's only my opinion. I would actually sell Schmeichel. I would move Danny Ward up, and I would move Danny Everson to Danny Ward's position. And then what I would do is I would have Danny Ward playing every single Premier League game, and I would have Everson playing in the League Cup and the FA Cup. Like I say, in the past, we got rid of Gordon Banks because Peter Shilton wanted regular time, and Gordon Banks was a World Cup winner. And Casper isn't that. And Peter Shilton wanted more time. And we let Gordon Banks go. Nobody saw that coming. There comes a time, says James, when where you have to look more at the long-term options going forward. Schmeichel has been a great servant for Leicester, but he hasn't got many more years. He hasn't, no. And I think if we lose Danny Ward, I think we could be struggling. I think we will have missed out if we let him go. We don't have the money to get rid of these fringe players. You need to spend in excess of 25 million to bring in better. That's the issue. But we've got Danny Ward. We've got an international goalkeeper. Yes, it's for Wales, but he's still an international goalkeeper. He's a good goalkeeper. He was 12 million. He's there, and he's played one in about, 5 seasons he's been with us? He's played one Premier League game. Dan Molehouse TV, how the devil are you, sir? Let Schmeichel live his days out being chasing his dog on Corrie. Question for you, Chris, says Scott and everyone else. If Schmeichel goes, will we need at least one new keeper? No. Scott, go and have a look on the Leicester City website. Look under the development squad. We've got 5 goalkeepers in the development squad. So if we let Casper go, we move Danny Ward up, we move Everson up, we've got a choice of 5. Is it Stoliark or something that is one of them there, and that's had good reviews. So we've got plenty of goalkeepers. We could field a team of goalkeepers. Mind you, we still probably couldn't defend a corner. But anyway, defenders, let's move on. Full-back, City are strong in Timothy Castagna, James Justin and Ricardo Pereira. Yep, you've got, and 2 of those can play either side, which is excellent. And they've got Luke Thomas for support on the left. They've still been linked with left-backs this summer, but bringing one in would likely require one of City's big 3 to leave. And with Justin and Ricardo recently signing new contracts, the only candidate would be Castagna. He's too good. We do not let Castagna go. City are planning for Justin to stick to the left-back role and develop his game there. That makes sense. I mean, we like players that can multitask, that can play in different areas. I'm not saying it again, Jason. I can't pronounce these words. lcfc.com, squads, look under development, and it begins with an S. But yeah, we don't need a full-back. We've got Luke Thomas coming through. We've got Justin Castagna and Pereira. So we do not need any full-backs. Technically, we've still got Bertrand as well. Yes, that's a horrible thought, isn't it? And I am so disappointed because I thought when we signed Brendan, that was going to be I thought that was a good deal. I mean, I know Saints were glad to see the back of him, as they were with Vestergaard, but I thought he would be able to come in. He had a good pre-season with us, and I thought, great, he's gonna have a good season or 2 with us, and he'll bring sort of the best out in Luke Thomas, and he'll pass that on to him. Yeah, it didn't quite work out like that, did it? But there we go. Here we go. It says, what happens with Ryan Bertrand is still up in the air, with the veteran struggling to make an impact before this knee injury ruled him out in the second half of the season. He will be further down the pecking order. The money arrived when Castagna and Justin were not fit. So, yeah, maybe. Well, I think we signed him on a 2-year contract, didn't we? So, at centre-back, City are targeting a new recruit as one of their major deals of the summer. A young left-sided player in the mould of Wesley Fofana is the ideal profile. Someone that can learn from Johnny Evans and a couple of years before becoming a key part of the defence. In that sense, Chelsea's Levi Colwill ticks all the boxes. The teenager trapped by City since last January is keen on an exit too if Chelsea make the centre-back transfers that will limit his game time. I would love to have this player. We know, I know a Huddersfield Town fan spoke really, really highly of him. I was on that loan there, of course, last season. And if Soyuncu is really seriously going to be going to one of the Milans or wherever, then yeah, let's get him in. And I love Johnny Evans. To me, he's the vice captain. I only found that out the other day. He's not injury prone. He's just old now, or experienced, whichever word you want to use. And the thing is, it's like with Jamie Vardy. When these players get injured, it's not that they get injured any more than they used to. It's just that it takes them a hell of a lot longer to get over those injuries. Now, hopefully we're not going to have the same problem as last season. These players, if you remember, they have the thing called the red zone. So if you pull a muscle, your injury is classed as a red zone injury, and you should be taking out the squad so that it doesn't get any worse. But we didn't have any players to replace them, so the likes of Castagna and Evans quite often were playing, and Justin were playing before they should be, because we didn't have any choice. So that's the problem with Johnny Evans. So love him to bits, should be captain, but like I say, I just don't know how many games he is going to play. Did I? No, I said Bertrand, didn't I? I think I said Bertrand, Scott. Wash your ears out. Another 2 centre-halves needed. That young lad from Chelsea, like we just said, yeah, Colwell. And another, see, I like, is it Nathan Collins from Burnley? I'm sure if Dan's in it, he's going to start screaming at me now. Ben Mee, possibly, but he's a bit older, but he's got the experience. Then Nathan Collins has been about. Nathan Collins, I know at Burnley is tied down to a long-term contract, so that might be a little bit more expensive than we want to pay. Ben Mee, I'm not sure about whether he's free or not. There we go. I told you. I knew that I'd bring him out the woodwork. So for Nathan Collins. There's not just us looking at him. I mean, the thing is that Ben Mee is available on a free. I've not heard much in terms of links. See, I would, if he's available on a free Ben Mee, grab him. You know, he's got that experience, and I'm not one of these that are going to say, well, yeah. And I know this really annoys. I wound Dan up the other day on his Turf Moor review when he did it's a great channel, by the way, if you want to get over to Turf Moor House TV. And I wound him up a little bit because he does get fed up with everybody complaining about Burnley and saying how bad they are and they're one-dimensional, and then everybody seems to want their players. Now, the thing is, I don't agree that just because a player or a team goes down, the individual players are bad. And all I will say is 2 words: Harry Maguire. We signed him from Hull when they got relegated. And that's why, Harry Maguire signed that contract before he left so that we could get 80 million off Man United for him. Mike, that's awful. So I think Ben Mee would be, if he's on a free, we've missed out on Tarkowski, and Company is going to be looking. He's going to want young, hungry players to come in, and I think Company's going to have a long-term strategy there. It's not going to be a case of come back and go down. He's going to want to build something that when you come up, Burnley are going to be ready, and they're really going to have a good go at it. I'd say all I would say is I would love to take Ben Mee. I really would. Where would Ben Mee go? For me, he's still good enough for the Premier League without that. As I've just said, James. Ben isn't that good for me, Mike. That prison humour, really. I hope you're not dropping the soap still. Crazy boy, good evening. How the devil are you? Welcome along. I've not seen you before, so nice of you to pop on. If you haven't already, I'd just ask you if you don't mind subscribing. It would be fantastic and really help the channel. Is defo still good for final crack at the Prem? Again, like I say, Evans, it's the injuries. And that's why I wanted Tarkowski. But Ben Mee is a leader as well because he was captain at Burnley. So, yep, let's get in there, Leicester. Let's get in there. Buy new strikers. Vardy is needed support. Yeah, he has. But we'll come on to strikers in a bit. Midfielders. Oh, sorry. Let's just stick with defenders. Daniel Amati. Daniel Amati, who developed into something of a cult hero with supporters for his performances last season, is likely to stick around as a backup. It will be the final year of his contract. And it all depends on players. Players are more likely to want to be a backup at Man City and are happy to get the cash, obviously, sit there, collect the splinters in the bum, whereas they don't necessarily want to be that at Leicester. I loved Daniel Amati. Was my most improved player last season. I'm not going to lie. I loved him. I never thought I would say that. He was the first name on the sheets. I can't believe that as Leicester fans we would look at team sheets and go, Amati's not playing. And 12 months ago, we wouldn't have been saying that. So, yeah. Geordie says, strikers, Chris Wood has been on strike for 6 months. He was all right when we had him. He was all right. What have you done with him? It was good when we had him. So yeah, I like Daniel Amati. I hope he stays. He's versatile. He can, he's mid 20s, mid to late 20s. Got a few seasons left on him. Apparently Woods is on $1,000 a week. Well, the joy of signing for Newcastle. Midfielders, Tielemans. All I'll say, look, we've mentioned him much too much. When he comes, he's coming back this week, hopefully to pre-season. Top, stay around, have a word with him, tell him to wobble his head, and sign him or kick him out. Make him play with the youngsters until he makes his mind up. Hamza Chowdhury is in talks with West Brom. Obviously, Steve Bruce there. Steve Bruce wanted him at Newcastle. Do you want to go to a club managed by Steve Bruce? Crazy. Forget who the Newcastle fan is that was in now. Geordie Toon for life. You know what I mean. No, but yeah, I think Tarkowski, to me, he's third. And again, this was discussed in quite some depth yesterday on the show at 9 o'clock, the weekend extra show. Do check it out. It's still on YouTube under latest shows. Ndidi is the best shot stopper for me in the division. And he would always be, when he's fit, first name on the sheet, or one of the first names on the sheet. He forms part of that good spine that we've got going down the top. When he's injured, who do we bring in? I always preferred Mendy to Hamza. Mendy, not as good tackler, but he is better at distributing the ball. And indeed, he can't really distribute the ball. He has to have Tielemans or Dewsbury all close by him to pass on, where Mendy can move forward with it and distribute it better. Hamza, he had a red card in him, let's face it, every time he pulled his boots on. But that seems to have sort of been got out of him. Brendan confused us because he was sort of saying how good he was in that Liverpool game. He played centre-back for us. And then never played him again after that. So blowing smoke up his arse, really, Brendan. I don't know what's going to happen with Hamza. Depending what day of the week it is, which side of the bed I got out of. One morning I might actually say morning. It's more like the afternoon when I get out these days. Sometimes I want to say keep Mendy. Other times I want to say keep Chowdhury. I wouldn't be surprised if they both don't go, to be honest with you. Dewsbury Hall and James Maddison there. What can you say? Dewsbury Hall just signed a new 5-year deal. It's going to be a future captain, according to Brendan, but then he did say how good a player Hamza was last season, remember? So interesting, at least. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, great signing. Great signing. Great to re-sign Kieran Dewsbury Hall. What a player. He's not scared to run forward and attack players. A bit like Barnes, in fairness, I'm talking to Barnes. When you had Luke Thomas, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, and Harvey Barnes on that left side, they'd come through the youth ranks together. They knew what they were doing. I mean, it was like watching Brazil at sometimes. Their passing play between each other. Harvey Barnes didn't have the best of seasons at the start, but then again, who did? And then he got injured, of course. And the thing is, with Harvey Barnes, is he going to be the latest player that we love to hate, like Chilwell? And I just don't get it. Why Leicester fans hated Chilwell. He was first choice left back for England when he was with us, but some fans didn't like him, and that is their opinion. I actually happen to like him. Now, same seems to be happening with Harvey Barnes. People were saying he doesn't shoot enough. He gets into these good positions. He doesn't know what to do with the ball. He needs to have more shots. So last season, and he got quite a few goals from his shots, but he was shooting more. And now he's greedy. He should be passing the ball more. He can't win. But I like Mendy as well. Harvey Barnes wanted to go. I don't think he did. I haven't heard that. I really haven't. Geordie, if you know, you know. Geordie, if I slip you $5, will you take Perez back? Have a word with your owners. Pocket change for them. Go on. We'll buy the train ticket up to Newcastle. You don't have to worry about that. But please take him back. James, having a good squad depth is crucial. Touch wood for your sake. You don't have to many injuries. Now we haven't got Europe. Yeah, I mean, having said that, so many were sort of not playing injuries, if you like, who got on the playing ground. Big season ahead for Harvey Barnes. Yeah, I mean, there was talk about him getting back into the England team. I don't think he was because, he hadn't had a good season all season. But yeah, he is. And I hope we tie him down to a long-term prospect as well. I'm just going to vote on that. Let's have a look. Oh, I got 34 options to keep or sell. Might do that one night. Might do that. That's a damn good idea. A keep or sell show. But we did a bit of it yesterday. But up front, Vardy, great, obviously. So we still need a right midfielder, but we haven't got anybody on there. We need to sign Simple, sign Lookman. He can play either side. Maybe play him on the left, move Barnes over to turn things round, but who knows? Who knows? I'm about to swap and the $5 Wood for Perez. Done. It's a deal. It's a deal. Make some changes in the squad. Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Vardy, first of all, let's sign Lookman. What a piss in the bat at 15 million. For God's sake, we paid 15 million on Vestergaard, and look what we got. 15 million for Lookman is a steal. Let's get him in. Up front, Perez, we think he's going to go. Inacho, I hope he stays, and I think he's been really badly done by. He was the reason we got Europa League last season. He was the reason that we ended up still in 5th. When he was needed, he came on and he formed a brilliant partnership with Vardy. He was our top scorer last season. 2 up front was amazingly. It was working so well for us. And then Brendan decides not going to play that. Not going to play that again. That's Brendan for you, isn't it? But I hope Inacho stays. Daka, yeah, he is going to be one for the future. He's going to be one for the future. Vardy, he's not going to be playing 90 minutes. I think this is going to be, he's got one more season left with us. And I think this is going to be the season when he maybe doesn't play the full 90 minutes. He starts with Daka and brings Vardy on as a last minute sort of 20 minutes to absolutely terrify the opposition defence. We will see. There's a few players I haven't mentioned there. Samari, does he stay? Does he go? He was a championship winner in France, which is, no mean thing when you're not playing for Paris Saint-Germain. I'd like to give him an extra year to see what he can do. So that's basically the Monday night Back Pages show. Coming up next, 9 o'clock tonight, we are looking, I was joined by Dan, the Burnley man, when we will be looking at Group E of the World Cup. Then we will be back tomorrow again at 6 o'clock. When I say Ben Jacobs from The Athletic, ESPN, Talk Sport, BT Sport will be joining us on the back page to talk City rumours. He's a City fan as well, so looking forward to having him on. Maybe we should ask him if we can put a cheeky bid in for Ronaldo. Yeah. Look, I can dream. Okay. But that is coming up, I say tomorrow. And then obviously we've got tomorrow night with Louise. We're going to be looking at the Women's Euros and going through and seeing who's going to go through from the groups, etc. I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, and if you haven't yet, and you are watching this either on YouTube or not on YouTube, get over to YouTube, press that subscribe button, please. It does help the channel, as does if you press the like button as well. And don't forget, please, these are the companies that support Leicester Till I Die, that help us keep going. Give them your support.
Leicester lead again. The goals are flowing here now.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open. For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise, visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
Indeed. Thank you very much, like I say, for watching. Thank you very much for listening. See you at 9 o'clock if you want to find out about the Group E at the World Cup this November. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, 6 o'clock, for another Back Pages show. Good night, and remember, don't do anything I won't enjoy. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Cool. I'm out of here. Ooh, that's a wrap.
Some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is not.